name's Eric Schwartzman, and I'm the co-author of Social Marketing to the Business Customer. There are a lot of books on social media, but this is the first book exclusively devoted to social marketing to business customers.
When we speak about social media to some small and medium businesses which are active in the B2B side, they say, okay, it's not something for us. It's also alright for people in the B2C sector, but for B2B it's not something very relevant, and people either are not there or don't care. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's a missed opportunity. I actually think social media is better suited to business marketing than it is to business-to-consumer marketing, and I'll tell you why. There's far less competition for keywords that are indicative of a purchasing decision for a business buyer than keywords that are indicative of a purchasing decision for a consumer buyer. Example, trying to monitor keywords based on people looking to buy soda pop or buy soap, you're going to spend so much time separating the wheat from the chaff. The signal-to-noise ratio is so loud that you would spend all your time just trying to find the meaningful conversations. Whereas if you're selling something like, let's say, wind turbine bearings, there's going to be a lot less competition for a keyword like that. And according to the research, 93% of B2B buying decisions start on Google. So why wouldn't you make the information available so that people could qualify your company and consider you for the short list?
Okay, but for small and medium businesses, the problem is that they have less resources than a bigger corporation. And what is a struggle for them most of the time is, how do I get the content produced for myself, with also the particularity that you are underlining?
Okay, so it's a transition. So it is going to require some additional effort to make the transition. But I would argue that once the transition has been made, or once it's been initiated, you actually are going to be more productive because a lot of the tasks that we perform in business today are redundant. Example, if you go to your Microsoft Outlook client and you go to your sent items folder, chances are there are 2 or 3 emails in there that you're constantly hunting down, opening up, reformatting to work for another frequently asked question, and sending it off. If you took the time to write that up as a blog post, you would just send a link to that blog post and you'd be more productive. Plus, people would discover that through Google and share it through social media. So you would get the added value of the pass along through social media. I liken the difference between traditional media and social media to the difference between cash and credit. If I pay for something in cash, there's no record of it. But if I pay for it with my credit card, there's a record of it. So I think the more you can encourage everyone in the organization, not just marketing and PR, but everyone, to use these tools on a day-to-day basis to get their jobs done, they leave behind a trail of digital breadcrumbs. And that leads back to your company. So really, social marketing becomes a byproduct of just conducting your business activities on the internet.
Some people and companies like Ethos in France, for instance, are saying that within a 10-year time, email will be outdated, that people won't communicate via email anymore. Is it a perspective for you that sustain and support what you are saying about the importance of being on social media?
No, I think business has a need for confidential communications, and I think email satisfies that point-to-point confidential communications. It happens online, but it's from me to you. And assuming you respect that confidentiality and don't repost it on Twitter or on Facebook, then we can have a back channel communication that's not public. I think what needs to happen is organizations need to get more sophisticated about deciding what belongs on the email channel and what belongs on the public LinkedIn channel.
To end up, one counter-argument we get also from small and medium businesses owner is that there is nobody on the social media in the sector, and that they are just making noise for in a desert. What do you answer to that?
Okay, so first, it may be possible. I'm not going to speculate that I know whose market is where, but in our book, Social Marketing to the Business Customer, we advocate listening first, listening for where the activity is. And that starts with figuring out what buyer-oriented keywords people are using to source purchasing decisions. And that can be a keyword discovery can be a 4 to 6 week phrase just to figure out what keywords to listen to. And the keywords you're going to listen to in Twitter are going to be different than the keywords you're going to listen to in LinkedIn. But once you've built that map that you're monitoring against and you can listen for conversations, you can actually collect, right, proof of what's going on in terms of conversations in your marketplace that are leading to purchasing decisions. And frankly, I think it's really unwise to launch out on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter without doing that exercise first. You need to see where the action is, or you can't strike where the iron is hot. Most businesses are overwhelmed with the choices. They don't have the resources to do it, so they look at it and they give up, they surrender. But if they take the time to listen, they might find, wow, all I really have to do to reach my market is get active on one specific group in LinkedIn. Or perhaps I find that people are sourcing my products on Twitter. Or perhaps I find it's happening on a bulletin board somewhere. Or maybe it's happening in YouTube. Or maybe it's happening on SlideShare, right? There's a lot of different areas where it could be happening. And unless you can identify that at the get-go, how can you ever strike where the iron is hot, identify the low-hanging fruit, and prove a positive ROI in a short period of time? You can't.